All right, what the dirt? What you got for us, man? I know you got your OVO pom poms out. I know you excited about vanilla ice, ice, vanilla ice, baby. Vanilla ice, drizzy drink. All right, man. Let's react to what the dirt. Drake entire Iceman episode rollout explained. Of course, you would know. Of course, a person that counted nigga 36 times is definitely going to be able to break down how methodical and how so beyond his time Drake is and how calculated he is, because we all know Drake is a very calculated strategic person, because he's been like that his whole entire career. So, you know, let's see how what we missed from episode 1, because it was so beyond our normal thinking that we need what the dirt to break it down. So let's see how what the dirt broke down this complex puzzle.
On T-Pain and Drake, so definitely stay tuned for that. But as you guys know, I had to pump the brakes tonight. First off, there's been a lot of speculation around Drake dropping a new project, and I actually made an entire video on this around 2 weeks ago. I went out of my way to make a prediction that Drake was going to come back and go on a major run, and tonight we got a bit of a glimpse of that. Drake took to Instagram earlier today and announced that he would be live on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, none of us knew what this was going to be, but whether you love Drake or hate him, everyone showed up. You couldn't even read the chat. It was going like crazy fast. And after a little bit of a delay, the cameras came on, and if you haven't been paying attention, you probably found the whole thing pretty confusing. We discussed in my last video that there was a very high chance that Drake's next project would be called Iceman, as he gave us a lot of clues, including a picture of an ice machine. If you recognize that logo, that's exactly where he is. The building that you...
Wow, man, that is so beyond our thinking. Wow. Wow, this is great.
guys are seeing is located in West Central Toronto, and the company is called the Iceman. As you can see, they specialize in ice machines, ice delivery, and more importantly, ice sculptures. And you'll see why that's important. Anyways, the scene starts off in the warehouse where there's nothing too crazy going on, but we do see 2 blue totes with plastic on top, which could very well be an order that has been fulfilled and ready to load. The scene switches a few times. However, next we see a block of ice in a rectangular shape, and you can see this is placed on a CNC machine. I was a manager at a fab shop before I started YouTube. We did like piping and like steel and shit like that, but it's all the same. Now, this machine is what is used to create all the sculptures that I just showed you. You basically program the settings and it will cut the ice to specified values. That's exactly why we see Drake enter the scene and he starts to take measurements. He's taking the measurements. He's confirming that it's the right size for whatever sculpture that he wants. Now, we can assume all day what the sculpture could be. Maybe it's like an owl or something that's related to the album. Right now, we're on episode 1 of Iceman. I have a prediction that episode 2 will probably see the sculptures, or we'll see them at some point. This looks like it's going to be a series. There's more to come. We then see a bunch of other blocks that appear to be the same dimensions, possibly waiting to be machined into other sculptures. Drake then walks through the warehouse, and you can see he has a clipboard and a measuring tape. The scene then switches to a very familiar place for most of us, as right now we are in the employee lunchroom. You can see we have a We the North Raptors flag, which honestly was just probably there because, don't forget, we are in Toronto. Drake eventually comes in, and you can see he's wearing the Iceman hoodie, and he's really playing the part of a guy getting on his lunch break. You can see...
So is he just... okay, this is self-explanatory. See, this is why your Family Matters was so unnecessary. Like, you're explaining the already... Like, this doesn't need to be explained. Okay, he's walking through the door. He's on his lunch break. Duh, motherfucker. Like, duh. Like, where is... God, here you go again, man. Here you go again with this basic breakdown. Duh, motherfucker. He's walking through the door. He's on... Duh, bitch.
He's got some food in the microwave, he's got his cup of coffee, and he's about to sit down for his break.
Oh my God, he's sick and he's breathing. Oh my God, Drake just he just blinked from his left eye to his right eye. Oh my God, he's breathing from his lungs, and now he's walking on his feet. Oh my God, man. I don't think I'm gonna make it through this.
Then we get like a whole lot of nostalgia on the TV. Next, we see a really old preview from around 2006 for Drake's single City Is Mine from his debut mixtape Room for Improvement. What's even crazier is that the person filming literally predicts the future.
Gonna lock Tio down for the next 15 summers.
Whoever's on that camera just spoke all this into existence. He was like bang on. Speaking of going way back in time, I just found out that I'm 6.2% Irish. And for the low cost of just $29.
Man, shut the fuck up. Oh, Jesus. Skipping all this stupid shit.
City of Toronto, and it's clear that he's got some decent local buzz.
Truth right here. Drake. Shout to my boy Nelly.
Now, I'm not from Toronto, so I can really only try my best here, but Drake looks to be walking in Dundas Square, maybe even Yonge Street, which is some of the busier parts of downtown. That's definitely where all the action is, and you can see that some people are recognizing him, but for the most part, he's walking freely through the city like a normal pedestrian. Make a mental note of this, because these streets he's walking down, the way he's interacting with the fans, that's all important for later. There's also some familiar faces. It's pretty blurry, but this definitely looks like Nico, and much like a lot of Drake.
So let me guess, you're going to relate to how he did this in the beginning to what he's doing now. Oh my God, look, Drake shows him walking before he was famous, and now he's famous. He's driving an ice truck. Is that what you're going to say? Man, oh God, man. This is all self-explanatory, man. Like, this doesn't need a breakdown. Where's Meet the Grams? Why you haven't broke down Meet the Grams yet?
Drake's team. He's a co-founding member of OVO, and he's still in the picture today. These guys are a close-knit team, right? And I always felt like that stood for something for Drake, that the closest people in his life have really been with him for over 20 years, a long time. Next, we get footage where Drake claims he's in a studio, and he cracks a joke about how he's writing lyrics for someone else.
I'm in the studio writing. That's it. I'm trying to put them on. I don't know if Nick told you, but I write all of Nick's rhymes.
Now, the person that he's referring to is American rapper Nicholas F. This was an old friend of Drake's during the Room for Improvement days, and you can see he's featured on a bunch of tracks from that tape. He's also featured on the comeback season as well. Next, we see Drake on stage at a show, and I'm pretty sure this took place at Cool Haas in Toronto back in 2006. This was when Drake opened up for Ice Cube, and he only got $100 for the show. And he's definitely on some backpack shit. We hear a lot of Budden influence. And honestly, if someone else knows, leave it in the comments, but I have no idea what he's performing here. If the crowd was there to see Ice Cube, it's definitely a bold move to do an a cappella performance like this, but he does a good job. It's pretty muffled, but a few standout lines that I caught were when he mentioned a bunch of Toronto rappers, and he also had a line where he says, they frequently visit, but didn't even know we rap. Nothing was handed to Drake. Like, you know, the odds were actually grossly stacked against him, if we're being real. Next, we got into an exclusive announcement. Drake is sipping the coffee, and on screen, we see the words, "What did I miss?" And this is when he previews a brand new record. We see Drake standing in the back portion of his new Texas mansion. This was a $15 million crib in Brenham, which sits on 313 acres and was a recent purchase for Drake in October of last year. Now, I'm not from Texas, but I know that guns are a pretty big deal there. And obviously, Drake has some sort of special license because he's got a lot of artillery. Some of these weapons look like military-grade machine guns. And the question needs to be asked, what sort of statement is Drake trying to make here with a scene like this? I look at it in two different ways, so here's my theories. We see all the weapons laying on their sides. They're all pointing in the same direction, except for two larger machine guns, which are pointing towards each other. The smaller guns could really represent all the rappers who just took shots at him. Drake is basically...
duh, motherfucker. Oh, my God. Mr. Obvious. That's your new name, Mr. Obvious.
saying none of that shit worked because I'm still here. I'm still standing. However, there is a bigger war at play that supersedes anything that those rappers have going on, because the real war for Drake are with some very powerful people. The machine guns represent a higher class, something the smaller guns couldn't go up against even if they wanted to, and that could be related to what Drake has going on with UMG. My second theory goes the completely other way with it. In the song I'm about to break down, Drake is coming with a really aggressive energy. He continually says, "Let's go." It's with all these guns where Drake could be saying, "I'm back, I'm fully loaded, I got a lot of ammo on all you guys, I can go multiple rounds, I could take this in many different directions. You guys really fucked up because I'm not going out like you thought. I can go the distance.
I don't give a fuck if you love me. I don't give a fuck if you like me."
So pretty direct. Drake has been getting a lot of hate post beef. A lot of people turned on him, so he's letting them know.
Asking me how did it feel? Can't say it didn't surprise me.
Again, same energy. Drake is not all that shocked with some of these guys switching up. Keep in mind, he also has an active lawsuit with UMG, so this could easily pertain to some of the executives too. UMG made billions of dollars off Drake, right?
Last time I looked to my right, you niggas was standing beside me.
So again, Future, ASAP, The Weeknd, Rick Ross, Kendrick, all people that Drake helped. And this is all fitting in with the Iceman theme, right? Like, fuck all you guys, bro. It's over.
How can some people I love hang around pussies who try me?
This one is very likely directed at LeBron, who switched up on Drake and went to the pop-out show to support Kendrick. And honestly, I think this one definitely cut Drake the deepest. If you really want, I could do a piece on LeBron and Drake, like that whole history. Leave it in the comments. Next, we hit the hook, and right off rip, the production definitely goes crazy.
What did I miss?
And now we get the first verse.
I'm whipping around on like 600 acres. Let's go.
Drake claims he's cruising on 600 acres. I thought the house that he bought was 313, but who knows? Maybe he bought the neighbor's lot. Nothing surprises me. I do remember when Drake and Rick Ross were going back and forth. They were talking about their mansions and how much land they had, which is interesting because it happened before he bought this new Texas spot. Ross is currently sitting on 235 acres in Georgia. And with this recent purchase, Drake is now sitting on 313 in Texas. We couldn't relate. This is how rich people fight.
You niggas just better not ask for no favor. Let's go.
So again, Metro, Future, Rick Ross, any of you guys that switched up, stay on that side. No more favors. Best of luck to you.
Love for my brothers and debt to a trader. Let's go.
Like I said earlier about Drake's team, I think this whole entire ordeal finally made him realize that these industry relationships are fickle, and from here on out, it's his immediate team only.
She might decide to say no to me now, but say yes to me later. Let's go.
This one could really be about anyone. Drake might be trying to slide into someone's DMs. Maybe they passed him up at one point. He's saying that could change.
Pass it all natty like Florida together. Let's go.
So again, this could be about anyone, right? But Rick Ross does have an ex-baby mama. She actually has 3 kids with Rick Ross. Her name is Brianna Camille. She is from Florida. Her ass is definitely nice. I don't know if it's fake or real, but that could definitely be a reach.
You switch on the guys that supported her. Hey, let's go.
Again,
Here you go with this dumb shit. Her ass is really nice. Well, you know. Oh, here you go with this. Oh, Lord have mercy. Here he goes, man. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think this could pertain to anyone who switched up on Drake to support Kendrick, who is really a self-proclaimed Drake hater.
What's the game back for niggas? It's TBD. I'm get this shit like a BTC. Could be down this week, then I'm up next week.
I really like this line. Drake's planning on getting his revenge, but it's all up in the air. He references Bitcoin, which is extremely volatile. One week it's up, the next week it's way down. He's basically saying that they can't predict his next moves. I mean, I don't think anyone predicted what he did tonight. Like, this is crazy. I think even the biggest Drake hater can admit that this is a really fucking dope concept. Next, we see a message.
No, it's really not, because this is nothing complicated. There's Jesus. Hey, well, you know what? He's entitled to have his opinion, but my opinion that this was stupid and unnecessary. It didn't make a statement. It just showed how corny he is, in my opinion.
Message on the screen with some interesting spelling, and now we see Drake at the CNC machine dancing. So it's pretty clear that those other blocks that we looked at, they're definitely in place for more sculptures. Then we get the second verse.
Punch in the face of some TLC shit on the dead guy. Some TLC shit because you don't need a chili ice for your left eye.
Now this is very high level writing. It's absolutely fire. In the first line, Drake says you could get punched in the face on some TLC shit, which is a wrestling reference to tables, ladders, and chairs match. These matches are notoriously violent, and Drake is saying whenever they meet is going to get ugly. He even makes a bit of a West Coast reference here, and he says on the dead guys, where usually you hear on the dead homies. And then there's the fact that Kendrick literally said these exact same words on GNX.
On the dead guys, nigga, I ain't going.
Then in the second line, he says on some TLC shit, this time referencing the iconic R&B group. And then he says you're going to need a chili ice pack for your left eye, which is really dope because applying an ice pack to someone's eye is a form of TLC, like what your mom would do as a kid, showing tender loving care. It's here where he's also making a reference to 2 of the members in the TLC group, Chili and Left Eye. Lastly, the more obvious,
Everything is obvious at this point. Like nothing. I thought you was gonna break down something that really needed breaking down, but so far everything is Mr. Obvious. But
someone is going to literally get punched in their left eye. Fire.
I'm back in your city tonight, walking around my head high.
So it's here where Drake says he's going to be walking around LA with his head up high. And let's be real here, being called a pedophile is disgusting. Kendrick better hope that he never runs into Drake's team. It would get very ugly because it's far beyond
man, shut your ass up, boy. Shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody worried about Drake team, man. Shut your ass up, boy.
Battle for Drake at this point, clearly. I don't see a world where they cross paths anytime soon.
I saw bro in the pop out with Denver and did ride gangs his headline.
All right, so again, LeBron is catching some heat for showing up to the pop-out show. He had a very close friendship with Drake, and he claims that LeBron was dick riding since his track Headlines. And I even found a tweet from 2011 from LeBron where he said that was one of his favorite songs. Did he say headlines or hairlines? Or is it both? Like, because LeBron had a crazy-ass hairline.
It feels like nobody's there until you start giving out two-tone. And nobody cares until they're in front of your tombstone.
So this line is also fire, and I also found it pretty sad. Drake is basically saying that nobody is truly loyal and that they only care when you're forking out money and gifts, like a two-tone watch. But don't forget, Drake helps people out with hooks and features, and he does this in 2 tones by rapping and singing. That I really like too. In the second line, he's talking about how nobody cares until a person is dead, which is insanely true even outside of being a celebrity. It's a story as old as time. I'm pretty sure Nipsey had like a quote at one point, like gives flowers when you could smell them or something like that.
Y'all been on that type of timing for too long.
Playing off the reference to the watch, Drake claims that these guys have been this way for a very long time. They have used him to no avail.
Iceman, Tiffany, Blue Stones, I done made plenty shit right out of 2 wrong shit. Let's go.
So this is the first time that we hear Drake make a reference to Iceman in his lyrics. We can definitely assume at this point that the album will be called Iceman. He says Iceman Tiffany Blue Stones, and he did make a post about 6 weeks ago with what looks to be an iced out Daytona, and it does appear to be blue. The last line is pretty much a twist on the old saying, 2 wrongs don't make a right, where Drake is saying that he defies that. He's turned a lot of pain into progress, conflict into profit. For him, wrongs do make a right. This is pretty much exactly what I was talking about in my video 2 weeks ago. So that does it for the second verse, but just to talk about the optics of what Drake is doing here, he's literally saying all this while in a freezer. He's basically saying at this point, he has turned to ice. He's cold-hearted. It's fuck everyone. It's fuck the label. Fuck the haters, the industry. This is Iceman. By the way, it's 3 a.m. I'm really working here. Hit the like button if you can. Now, for the last verse, Drake really comes with a whole lot of facts, and I love hearing him come with his energy because he really did carry a lot of those guys on his back for years, giving them verses, booking them for tours, sending them wires, sending them money. Drake went above and beyond for a lot of these guys. LeBron at his shows, acting like his #1 fan. Drake is speaking the reality here.
When I was looking at y'all and cooking with y'all, giving out verses and bookings to y'all, making sure I was with Hitman when you was all in my crib, looking at hoes, word for word at all of the shows. You always felt like this.
Now we're at the point where we see a whiteboard and it shows what appears to be a commercial order or an order for a customer. From my understanding, the dimensions are pretty small. This looks to be mostly different sizes for ice cubes that you would put in drinks. These aren't for the big blocks that you see in the CNC room. These are for drinks. Like it says cocktail drinks on the thing, right? So they're ice cubes. They might be Drake's ice cubes or some customer's ice cubes. Actually, I'm going to make a prediction. I think these ice cubes do belong to Drake. I think these are for a listening party. I think all of his day ones are going to be there. I think he might even stream the listening party. These sculptures are going to be a big part of the listening party. And I think the ice cubes are for the drinks for the party, right? Drake then leaves the CNC cutting room. We see another shot of that Iceman hoodie. Really dope logo. Great marketing for his business. I'm not sure if Drake has some sort of financial involvement with these guys, but Drake then punches in a code on what appears to be some sort of RFID keypad clock-in system. This is likely where an employee will punch in their code to clock in and out of work, probably here signifying that Drake's shift is over. He's putting in his pin and he's clocking out. Drake then walks through the warehouse, pulls the gate closed, and he hops into a commercial delivery truck. It's here where he stays for quite some time, but when he finally pulls out, you can hear people chanting Iceman. Now, he does play some more records, right? But I don't want to break them down now because he doesn't play them in full, and I want to wait for the album to come out and like do a full breakdown, right? For the rest, we got Drake literally driving downtown in Toronto. I trace his entire route. He's driving through the city at 9 p.m. on a Friday night in a delivery truck. He's got the window down, and he couldn't be any more carefree. You see him passing by 7-Elevens, banks, McDonald's, graffiti-covered buildings. He goes all the way up Dundas West, completely through Chinatown. People are screaming. People are approaching the van. People are chasing the van. He's got the entire thing projected on the screen in Dundas Square, which is pretty much the busiest area of downtown Toronto. He's definitely not hiding that he's in the city, and he pulls up to meet the fans. I mean, for a star of this magnitude, much less a billionaire, this is insane. He's talking to the fans so casually with zero worries. This whole thing took a lot of coordination, a lot of cameras.
Actually, he did have a lot of worry. How come you ain't going to the part where he got pressed? This is so unnecessary.
The whole thing is streamed live. It's by far the most innovative rollout that we've seen since what Kanye used to do. It's pretty crazy.
Man, get off your bruh. This is the most innovative rollout. Man, how much is Drake paying you, bro? How much is Drake paying you, man? Just, oh, Lord have mercy. Jesus Christ. All this shit is unnecessary, man. Like,
crazy because all those same streets that Drake walked back when he first started in 2006 with his friends chanting "The city is yours," that's pretty much a reality. All the people that walked past Drake on those exact same streets in 2006 know exactly who he is today. It's even crazy to consider that he walked so casually down the streets as a kid, and now he's pretty much doing it at such a higher level. The people in the city respect him. It goes without saying, Drake's legacy in Toronto and hip-hop is cemented. Iceman's looking pretty promising. I got very, very high expectations for this album. I made the prediction that I think Drake's going on another run. I think he's about to do it again. People clown me for it, but we'll see. I predicted a lot in the past. By the way, guys, don't forget about my heritage.
With the dirt, this is why people dislike you. What you did wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Like, the reason why people liked you because you broke down things in a different way that maybe people didn't catch it the first time when you did 616 and when you did Euphoria. The way that you broke that down, a lot of it was like, oh man. But this was obvious. Like, that didn't need a breakdown, just like Family Matters didn't need 2 hours of a breakdown. Y'all leave a comment down below. This was pretty stupid to me. I'm out.